Good morning, students. Today we would learn something about idiomatic expressions. So before we go on to learn about the idiomatic expressions, we should know what exactly they mean and how different they are from proverbs. So idiomatic expressions are phrases that came into existence because of some kind of experience in past, and later on every individual word separately have a different meaning, but then collectively they mean something else. All right, so the example that I can give you is eat the cake and have it too. So when you say eat the cake and have it too, I actually am not talking about the cake. I am actually talking about something that you want to possess and also use it. So, something that you cannot do, something that is not possible. It's not possible humanly. So for such an experience, you use this particular expression called eat the cake and have it too. All right. There is another expression that I can give you, is that of it is raining cats and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs would mean that it's raining heavily, although initially the farmers used it for when the cats and dogs would just fall from their attic. All right. So here let's learn about idioms. So an idiom is a phrase or an expression whose meaning cannot be worked out from each word it contains. So in an idiom, the group of words have a fixed order. So you cannot change, okay? It's raining cats and dogs. I can't say it's raining dogs and cats. So you can't actually interchange the position of the expressions that are already there, because they're you need to learn about the etymology of these idioms to understand the manner in which they are placed in a particular structure. So let's go on to learn more. Idiomatic expressions are used in communicating and also telling us about the right expression, right emotion, or right feeling. So some of them are used for fun. All right, so you're making fun of people, so you tend to use some of these expressions. And if you have realized, or if you have used or learned about idiomatic expressions in your school, you might have also understood that there are idioms in English which are associated with body parts. Some idioms are connected to animals, some to nature, etc. Like body parts, I can say when when Rishita and Pooja ran, Rishita won the race with just a hairline difference. Hairline difference does not mean you just have to plug their hair and just see the difference. Just hairline difference would mean very little difference, just few moments. Okay. And they could be meaning, there are expressions which have similar kind of idioms in Hindi and English also, in Hindi and other languages also. For example, we have this expression. See, there are two people talking such some confidential matters, and then there is a third person who comes. So we say, "Oh my God, this person is a thorn um, in the flesh." Thorn in the flesh. A person is called thorn in the flesh when he is an unnecessary intruder, or a person who's not expected to intervene between two people's conversation. Similar one, you have it in Hindi. Wo kebab mein haddi hai, right? So you can see that there are a lot of expressions that are kind of related. The example that I already gave you is that of naach na jane aangan tedha, has an equivalent in English, which is a bad workman blames his tools. All right, so we go on to the next slide. uh, so why do we use these idiomatic expressions? So idiomatic expressions or idioms add life and vitality to a language. As I told you earlier, in order to sound like or get closer to the native speaker's manner of speech, we can actually include idioms and expressions in our daily speech. So idioms add life and vitality to language, and without idioms, language can be correct. It is nothing that our language may be at fault without idioms, but then it adds value, it adds color, it adds life, it adds beauty, or it's kind of an ornamentation of a language when we tend to use idiomatic expressions. And when you are writing a book or some kind of an interesting write-up, idiomatic expressions will add fun or beauty to your write-up. So when you're able to use idioms comfortably in your own speech and writing, then you have achieved a higher level of mastery and fluency in the language. So that itself tells that you are closer to the native speakers of English. So let's look at some of these common idiomatic expressions and phrases in English. So the first one is a penny for your thought. What would it mean? Tell me, children. So it is a penny for your thought is used usually to ask someone what they are thinking about. For example, there are a group of friends. Okay, they're discussing about something, and one of them comes up with an idea. Hey, let's go and let's go to this particular place during this weekend. So what is? Can you give a penny for your thought? So it would mean that we are asking you for your advice or suggestion or whatever. So add insult to injury. Can anyone think about an equivalent in Hindi, children? Add insult to injury.
जले पे नमक छिड़कना.
Absolutely. So you're alive. Thank you so much. So jale pe namak chidakna, to make bad situation worse. A situation's already
Ma'am,
bad.
this one more idiom, it says add fuel to the fire. I think that's also.
Absolutely, it's an equivalent. From it's so interesting to learn about idiomatic expressions. There are either parallel idiomatic expressions in English, or sometimes there are opposite idiomatic expressions. For example, this one I really like to give as an example is uh, 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 out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind is, see, as long as you're close to somebody, you kind of tell everyone that I can't live without you. You're my life, and you're my lifeline and all that. The minute the person is gone, like you go to another college, you finish this college and you go to another college, you make new friends, you kind of forget about those friends, and you kind of don't even remember. So out of sight, out of mind. So the person is gone out. Sometimes the opposite also can happen, like with our family and friends and all that. When you stay with them, you kind of get bored with them, but then when you're away from them, you miss them. So for that, you have an expression called um, uh, absence makes a heart grow fonder. Absence makes a heart grow fonder. So especially it happens with family. When your mom is always coming and saying khaya kya, piya kya, did you have your lunch, did you have a breakfast, now you get irritated. My god, you're always asking me the same question. So you're irritated. But when you're away in hostel and all, and you're getting this ordinary kind of food to eat, that repeated kind of food to eat, then you realize the importance of your parents and the kind of food and the variety of food that your mom was cooking. And then you also miss the kind of the concern your parents had for you, right? So out of sight, out of mind, or in absence, the heart grows fonder. Absence makes heart grow fonder. Okay, so there are other. Once in a blue moon in Hindi. Again, I want the expression in Hindi. Once in a blue moon. Eid ka chand. All right. So once in a blue moon is when something happens very rarely. Oh my God, aap to Eid ka chand ban gaye. So a person who we rarely see, we call them as once in a blue moon, or a person, or on an occurrence or an experience rarely experiences, called as once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon we go out for dinner. So see eye to eye. What does it mean?
Like seeing at the same level.
Yeah, two people at the same level, same page. We both are on the same page when you say, that is the same thing. So hear it on the grapevine. You know what? Yesterday, we went for a party, and then I heard it from on the grapevine. What does it mean?
Rumors say it.
What does it mean?
Rumors, ma'am.
Yes. Usually, I would like, I would like to use gossips more than rumor, actually. When people gossip, that girl, she was just going out with so and so person last night. So you're actually gossiping. It may not be real, it may not be true, it's just something that people are talking. People love to talk about others, right? People like to talk negative about others. So such kind of a thing is called as hear it on the grapevine. So miss the boat. Miss the boat is missing a chance. So for example, the teacher came up with few opportunities for the students to excel, okay, so that they can complete their project and work under somebody in the corporate. But they said, ma'am, we don't want to do it. And later on, when you go for your campus placement, people ask you whether you did some kind of internships, and then you actually regret, and then you can use this expression, oh my god, when I was offered with an opportunity, I missed the boat, or you missed the boat. All right, so when there's an opportunity given and you just simply take it very carelessly, that's called as miss the boat. Here again, some more common idiomatic expressions. Take what someone says with a grain of salt. What does it mean? It would mean that you have to take people seriously. There are so many times when elders, out of their experience, tell you certain things, aisa hoga to aisa hoga. You have to be careful. See that you are careful when you go to a new place. First observe and then start making friends. So what we do is, when you go to a new place, you just jump and make friends immediately, and later regret ki arre, I actually shouldn't have made all these mistakes. So if you had taken someone's words with grain of salt, you wouldn't have made this mistake. There I can use this expression. All right, so taking somebody seriously, taking somebody's words seriously is called as taking someone with a grain of salt. So sit on the fence, what does it mean?
It's when you cannot decide.
Yes, when you're very, very indecisive. It happens when usually you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of, each opportunity seems to be lucrative enough. Everything seems good. And then you are not able to choose between this or that. It happens with during the process of marriage, matrimonial alliances start coming, and there are so many alliances that come, and you don't know, ye acha hai, ye acha. This boy looks good. This boy has good job. This boy is abroad. This boy is in India. So what happens is you aren't able to make choices. So there you can use this word. You are sitting on the edge, fence. As to what, there's another expression that our psychology ma'am used to give us, that see, there are two pastures, okay, they are equally green. The pastures are equally green, and there's a donkey which is very hungry and very, very, very thin. It is kind of going to die because of hunger, and it comes to this particular beautiful place, and there's a road in between, and there are two pastures, and the donkey actually is looking at both the pastures as to which pasture should it go and have its food. And then looking at both the pastures, it is so indecisive. It is sitting on the fence and unable to decide, and it dies there hungry because it is not able to decide. So sitting on the fence is not being able to make a decision. All right, so the best of both worlds, both worlds is, when you are trying
You
to
get everything.
yes, you're taking the best things of all. Like for example, if you believe in communism, all right, and then you say that no, there should be equality in the society, and everybody should be able to buy or experience life equally. So you believe in one particular ism, all right, but you take some good points from here, you take some good points from here, and actually would like to believe both. Like most of us educated citizens, tend not to take sides in terms of political parties. You cannot completely say that this party is completely good or this party is completely good. There are good things about this particular political party. This particular political party also has certain good points. So if we amalgamate, we want, this is our idea. So best of both the worlds. You're trying to choose the advantages or the good things about both the sides. So put wool over other people's eyes. What does it mean? It's actually cheating, something to do with cheating. This means to deceive someone into thinking well of them. Yeah, usually when you meet a person for the first time, you dress up well and you try to pretend to be really good. Be very courteous, please come sit and all that. But as you start living with them, you understand that all the behavior, all the manner of speech and all was kind of farce. It was not true. So the person was initially trying to put wool over people's eyes by faking his personality. So over the time, we understand who he is or she is. All right, children. So let's move on to the next slide. So try answering. Okay, these are the idiomatic expressions, the 3 idiomatic expressions onto the left hand side, and try fill in the blanks. She's had headaches 4 days dash because of the tension about tomorrow's accounting test. 4 days.
In a row.
Yes, 4 days itself means continuously. Okay, so she had headaches 4 days in a row. All right, so he handed in that assignment dash because he wanted to take time off.
Early.
Ahead of time.
Ahead of the time. Ahead of time. So before time he submitted the assessment, because later on he wanted to do some work. So they'll get their grades dash about 2 weeks from now when processing is completed. In due course. So eventually, in due course means eventually. All right, so the answers are given here. So she had headaches 4 days in a row. Next one is he handed in that assignment ahead on time, and then they'll get their grades in due course. So you're all right, so you get full points. Next one, the entire thing means being realistic. Okay, dash for you to share your apartment and save money. Reasonable enough. Okay, it seems reasonable enough for you. It seems reasonable enough for you to share your apartment and save money. It makes sense. All right, it makes sense for you to share your apartment and save money. Dash, there's no easy way for us to complete this work. Let's be realistic.
Let's not kid.
Let's not kid ourselves.
ourselves. So yeah, very good. So they party all night and still want top grades. So it is like you party and you also want grades. That's not possible, right? You can't eat the cake and have it too. You can't eat the cake and have it too is the expression that has to be used here. So let's see if we are right. So it makes sense for you to make your apartment. Okay. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not. Okay, they party all night and still want it, so they can't have and also eat the cake. So the next one, money matters. Steve is dash at the mall because his day job doesn't pay a good income.
Cheapskate, sorry, cheapskate.
No. Day job. He's moonlighting in the sense. See, day job is not enough now, so he's working at night. So when you're working at night, it is moonlighting. You're doing another job. That's moonlighting. All right, I think it's moonlighting. His boss is a dash and doesn't pay Steve enough.
Cheapskate.
Cheapskate, because he extracts work out of the employees, but he does not pay. So he's very cheap. So Joe fixes cars and sometimes makes good money if he works. So
Under the
table.
Under the table. All right. Without keeping records of his payments is called as under the table. All right. So that's, we are all right. So Steve is moonstaking. His boss is a cheapskate and he works under the table. Again, you have another activity that we will do, but eventually we will finish the remaining exercises from your textbook. All right.